Welcome. This is Michael Wickett. I'm enormously excited for you as you listen to this recording because you have in your possession a gift. The gift of a potential brand new life. The gift of finding a new purpose, creating more prosperity and abundance, a new dimension of love and intimacy in your relationships, vibrant health. It's all there in this program. It is a gift because if you use the Silva Ultramind system, you can tap into your wonderful human potential and brain capacity, and you can become a totally different person. You can become extraordinary. The key is you have to use the system. Now, you know that at some deep level. Dr. Stephen Covey, who wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said the number one characteristic of highly effective people is that they are proactive. This is not just a program for listening. This is a program for practicing. That's where the power is in this program. So I am here to encourage you to take charge of your life, perhaps in a way you never have before. Take charge of your mind and reprogram it at the alpha level with the images and the pictures that represent the ideal outcomes that you want to create. In my 28 years of lifelong learning, it's been my observation that an awful lot of people don't really understand how life works. You see, life is not coming to us. It is not a matter of good fortune. It's not a matter of what might happen next year. It's not a matter of lucky breaks. Life is not coming to us in some haphazard fashion. Life is coming from us, thought by thought, feeling by feeling, emotion by emotion. We really do live under the law of cause and effect. The world is a place of effects only. First cause is in our mind and our heart, and we all know that at some level. So rather than be defensive, just understand that you have this enormous power, this enormous capacity to change your life. Also remember that time of itself changes nothing. You see, time just gives us more of what we already have. This morning I was thinking of 3 people that I've known for over 25 years who are kind, loving, wonderful, smart, and educated. What they have in common is that for over 15 years, they have wanted, hoped for, wished for, and prayed for a loving companion that they could marry. And they're all living alone for over 15 years. Bright, educated, dynamic, well-dressed people cannot get the thing that they want most in life. Now, that's a common story for millions of people that are looking for love. Why is that? Why would anybody go 15 years, in the case of one person, over 20 years, and not be able to get an ideal, loving companion to be married to? The reason is because at the unconscious level of mind where everything is created, they don't believe it for themselves. Their mind has not been programmed with a clear image of a loving marriage. So that's why I say to you, if you want your life to be different, you've got the tools in this program. Time will not change your life. Hoping won't change it. Wishing won't change it. But if you go down and reprogram your mind with crystal clear images of the ideal outcome you desire, and then on a daily basis at level, you image those results, it's absolutely guaranteed that your mind will create your ideal outcome. So I just want to encourage you to be aware of your own personal power. Your mind and mine is just like a computer, except it's more powerful than any computer that has ever been created. Now, if you think of a computer operates on software. And the computer responds to the software that you put in. The computer makes no decisions of itself. It takes the software you put in and it responds. Our creative minds are exactly like that. The creative subconscious mind does not judge, does not interpret, does not change or adjust. It accepts as true the images and the beliefs we place into it. And remember, that wonderful computer called your mind is also an editing device. So when negative thoughts occur, go to level and remind yourself that negative thoughts and negative suggestions have no influence over you at any level of mind. Now, I will tell you that I grew up with enormous fears. I grew up with fear of success, fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of intimacy, fear of being authentic, and occasionally those fears come back. However, they don't stay because I have the same power you do. I go to level when they come back, and I do a very specific meditation, if you will, and programming to just let them go. They have no power over me. It's old ideas. It's old stuff. It's things that people erroneously said to me years ago. Has absolutely no power to me. So don't be concerned about negative ideas that come up and fears, because you have the power to just edit them out and let them go. And that's the magic of being at level, because that's where you can make corrections. So here's what I want to say to you. If you don't put new software, quote, into your mind, you have no new results. The purpose of the Silva Ultramind system is new software so that you can use your intuition, tap into higher intelligence, find your special purpose in life, get creative solutions to problems so that you literally can begin to function like a genius. Now, if that shocks you, trust me when I tell you that a genius is not an occasional person certified as brilliant like Albert Einstein. All of us have genius capacity, according to studies like the one done at Harvard University a couple years ago. We have enormous capacity just waiting to be used. Then you might say, well, Michael, if we're all geniuses, how come people don't act like that? Good question. The reason is they operate at the beta level of life. They operate at the ego level of life. They operate from beliefs that were programmed into their mind when they were small children. We are programmed with beliefs by the time we're 7. And they never rise above the habitual habits of thinking in the same way. Genius occurs when we go into our deeper mind at the alpha level, where there's no time, no space, no limitations, and reprogram our mind for the ideal lives that we desire. Genius occurs when we go to alpha and tap into our higher intelligence that has solutions. So in your hands, you have this wonderful gift. I am here today. I have been a part of this program with great passion because of what the techniques of Jose Silva have meant to me. They've enabled me to move beyond my attention deficit, anxiety disorder of a lifetime, move beyond failures, use my higher intelligence, use my intuition, solve problems, get more clarity, and create some wonderfully important things in my own life. The key is that on a daily basis, you be proactive and you go to level and begin to practice using your deeper mind, which you may not have been in the habit of doing. Because if you race around through your life with the same programming you've always had, behaving in the same way, nothing will change, my dear friend. If, however, you change the images, change the program, change the beliefs down in your subconscious mind at the alpha level, your whole life will change, and it can change very, very quickly. And now we want to give you some more information on how you can find your purpose in life and develop even more of your intuition. To be your guide on this next portion, here's Ed Byrne.
Thanks, Michael. A lot of people ask about how to find what their purpose in life is. Mr. Silva always said, enter your level and ask what your purpose is, exactly what you should be doing, and you will get answers. Well, okay, that sounds fairly simple, but we asked him, how do you get the answers? Exactly how do you go about it? He emphasizes, first of all, that when you function at level, when you've established a deep level of mind, and you think about it there, it becomes clear to you that we're really here to help one another. We're really here to improve conditions on the planet. He talked about that a lot. Said whoever sent us here sent us for a reason, and that reason appears to be to improve conditions on the planet. Now, Jose Silva developed his ideas over 84 years of life. That included 55 years of research into the mind and human potential. He did things that no one else had ever done in studying successful people and what made them successful. First of all, he used an instrument called an electroencephalograph to measure brain waves, and that gave him a way to actually look inside the heads of successful people, see how their brains were functioning. This is what you've been learning how to do in this program. He went way beyond that. He studied the lives of successful people. He analyzed his own life and what had given him the kind of success that he had. He noticed some common characteristics. He found that some people can go out and set goals and make that the most important thing and sacrifice everything else to it and reach those goals, but he didn't consider those people successful because they usually suffered in other areas of their life. He found that when people function the way they were sent here to function, to gain while helping other people to gain, to do constructive and creative things to improve conditions on the planet, then they achieve success. The success is not always in gaining great amounts of money. Success is not always in gaining great fame. The success is doing what you were sent here to do and improving conditions and living a life that's fulfilled and that's happy. Some people go out and set their own goals. I know a young woman who wanted to be an attorney when she was a young person. She wanted to be an attorney because that was a professional, and it was a profession that not many women were in at the time. So she studied, she went to law school, she did all the work, became an attorney. She doesn't like it now. She doesn't like the stress. She doesn't like the adversarial relationships, the confrontations that take place, but she doesn't know what else to do. She's got all that investment in being an attorney. She did not know the Silva method at the time she made that decision. When you can go to your level and make choices, you will be guided by higher intelligence to help you to make the correct decisions. So here's what we do. Here's what Jose Silva would recommend. First of all, enter the alpha level, as you've learned to do in this program, and ask yourself some questions. Ask yourself what you enjoy doing. Ask yourself, when you were a child, what did you enjoy doing then? What did people praise you for? What made you feel good about yourself? That will give you some ideas and some clues into the types of things that you like. Then use the mental video technique. Make a mental video of the things you're doing in your life and another mental video of the things that you're considering doing that you think would help you fulfill your purpose in life and give you that sense of fulfillment and that sense of purpose. And use the mental video technique in this manner and go to sleep with the intention of delivering the videos to your tutor in the spiritual dimension so that you can receive guidance as to whether this is the right thing to do. Then watch for indications that will guide you toward your mission in life. When we look at Jose Silva's life, we see how often he was guided by coincidences, guided by higher intelligence, and that's his idea, that he was guided by higher intelligence to do what he did. Mr. Silva was only 4 years old when his father died. It was the result of a terrorist act during the Mexican Revolution. So at the age of 6, Jose Silva, the oldest male in his family, went to work to support the family. He found that if he would provide a service for people, they'd pay him for it. So he'd shine people's shoes and they'd pay him. He saw people reading newspapers. He asked, what's that? What are they doing? And found out that they would pay if he would provide newspapers for them. So he began selling newspapers. He continued to find ways of providing service to people that they would pay for, cleaning offices, various things that he could find so that he could earn money to support his family. He was always alert to opportunities to provide more services. He also wanted to improve himself through education, but he wasn't able to go to school because he was working. So he learned to read and write on his own. His younger brother and his sister helped him learn to read and write. And he used to go practice. When he had time, he would go to the barber shop and he'd practice reading. He liked to read comic books because the pictures would help him understand the words he was reading. One day at the barber shop, he picked up a pamphlet and he began to read through it, and it was about electricity. This was in the 1920s, about 1928. And it made sense to him. He said, if you have a long tube and is filled with marbles. If you put one marble in one end, another marble pops out the other end. This is how electricity moves through a wire. An electron goes in one end, another goes out the other. It made sense to him. He asked the barber, "What is this?" And the barber said, "That's a correspondence course in electronics." Jose says, "Can I borrow it and read it?" Barber says, "Oh, no, it's very valuable, but I will rent it to you. If you pay me, I'll let you take it. And you have to take the test at the end and sign my name to it." So Jose thought that was a good deal. An opportunity opened up to him. An opportunity was placed before him because he was helping people. He feels that because he always was looking for ways to serve people as his way of earning money, more things that he could do to serve people, these opportunities opened up to him. This opportunity was placed before him. He didn't seek it out. It came through coincidence. He took the correspondence course and learned about electronics and how to repair radios. The diploma came, and it was made out in the barber's name. The barber hung it up on the wall of the barber shop, and it hung there for years, and he was proud to show it to people that he knew that. Meanwhile, Jose Silva started a radio repair business. This was the way that he earned enough money to do the research that he did over a 22-year period. It also gave him insight into how the human brain worked and how the brain stored information, processed information, and functioned at the various levels, beta, alpha, theta, and delta. So it was very fortuitous. Each step along the way of his life, all of the coincidences that came, directed him toward his final mission. His final mission wasn't to be the biggest electronics repairman in South Texas, which he was. He shut that business down at the age of 52, and then started what his real mission in life was, training people how to use more of their minds, how to get spiritual guidance, how to use their intuition to make better decisions, and therefore improve conditions on the planet and fulfill their purpose in life. So he got off on several steps that perhaps wouldn't make sense until you see the big picture of how it all helped him become what he was. Well, now the question is, how can you tell that you're on the right path, even if you don't yet know what your mission in life is? Well, here's Mr. Silva's formula for doing that. To determine if you're doing what you were sent here to do, notice the results that you get. What happens when you do the things you do? Look at the feedback. If you're getting good results, then you're on the right path. If you're getting bad results, if you're unhappy, if things are going bad for you, then you're probably on the wrong path. There used to be an old joke. A man went into a doctor's office and raised his arm up and said, "Doctor, it hurts when I do this." The doctor says, "Well then, don't do this." It's really kind of simple. If things are working, keep going. If things aren't working, then look and see why. Mr. Silva puts it this way. Here's his formula. When you encounter an obstacle, notice how long it takes you to overcome that obstacle, and then continue on. When you encounter the next obstacle, because we do encounter obstacles, notice how long it takes to overcome obstacle number 2. Now, if it only takes half as long to overcome obstacle number 2, that's a great sign. If it takes twice as long to overcome obstacle number 2, that's not such a good sign. But keep going. Keep on working on your project. When you get to obstacle number 3, notice how long it takes to overcome that obstacle. If it takes twice as long to overcome obstacle number 3 as it did to overcome obstacle number 2, and it took twice as long to overcome obstacle 2 as it did obstacle number 1, you're probably going in the wrong direction. On the other hand, if it gets easier and easier to overcome the obstacles, if it's only half as hard to overcome obstacle number 3, and number 2 is only half as hard to overcome as number 1, you're probably going on the right path. Keep on going. We don't batter down doors, Mr. Silva would always tell us. If one door won't open, give it a good try. Don't give up on it too easily. Have some persistence and give it a good effort. But if it really isn't opening for you, then he suggests that you back off and look for another door. That can take you to your ultimate goal. One of our instructors one time also mentioned, yes, when you back off and take a deep breath and look around, you may find the door opens towards you instead of away from you, so the door you were pushing on opens the other way. Now, often you'll encounter 2 or more opportunities. That happened with Mr. Silva a lot of times. Something like that happens, he recommends using the best choice technique to decide how to proceed. At your level, at the alpha level, where there's more information available to you, you can decide which is the better of the 2 options. Now, if you have more than 2 options, several of them, that can be a little difficult to do, so narrow down to 2. Which is better, choice A or choice B? If you determine that at your level you get the feeling that choice A is better, then you can compare choice A to choice C and determine which of those is better, and continue that way 2 at a time until you narrow down to the best option. Then proceed that way and notice the feedback that you get. How is your life going? For instance, let's put it in the real world terms. Making career choices, you might want to enter your level, analyze the situation, and ask yourself, what's best for me? What is it I like doing? Do I like working with people? Something like sales, management, teaching, something like that. Or am I more interested in processes and products? Would I be more involved in manufacturing or research and development or something like that involves me with products and things rather than with people? That could be two choices you could look at. Think back in your past life. Think how you relate. Think what seems to work best for you. Think about what seems to give you the best results. And at your level, where there's more information, make a choice about that. Here's how to proceed. You ask yourself the question, which would be the better choice for me? Then Mr. Silva recommends that you clear your mind for a moment of time. Now, what he means by that is to think about a different subject. Sort of like wine tasting. When they taste one wine and then eat a little bit of cheese, so they clear their palate, then they can taste another brand of wine. Sort of like that. You ask your question, you think of something else. You kind of disconnect from the subject for a moment. Like, gee, I need to go down to the store later and pick up a loaf of bread and some milk. And then you come back and say, okay, my question was so-and-so. Now my answer would be, and you think about answer A, how does that feel? Answer B, how does that feel? Which one of those seems to be right for me? And you'll very definitely get an indication from your intuition which of those answers feels right for you. Then go out, put it into action, and notice the results that you get. Use your mental video technique to keep your tutor in the spiritual dimension advised of what you're doing. Remember, your tutor in the spiritual dimension has a much broader picture of what's going on and can help you and can guide you by arranging coincidences to help you move down the path you're going on, or arrange coincidences to guide you in a slightly different direction so that you will be on the right path towards your purpose in life. You don't need to do it all on your own. You have support. You have what Mr. Silva referred to as an invisible means of support. Support from the spiritual dimension, from higher intelligence. When you make the right choice, when you're doing what you're sent here to do, what higher intelligence wants you to do, then higher intelligence will help you by guiding you to make the right decisions, by arranging the coincidences to make your life work. Now let me give you one more formula from Mr. Silva. It is his formula for prosperity and abundance. To him, it was very simple. He said that when you're at your level, program to fulfill your mission in life by improving conditions on planet Earth. What can you do to improve conditions on planet Earth? And, second part of the formula is very important, and keep in mind what your needs are, plus a little bit more. You do deserve to be compensated. Compensation doesn't always come directly. You don't always do a job for someone, provide a service for someone, and then get immediate compensation from that person. Sometimes it comes in another direction. Sometimes you'll do something for someone, and the compensation will come from someone else when you get something to meet your needs. So program to fulfill your mission, to improve conditions, and leave behind a better world for those who follow. And keep in mind what your needs are, plus a little bit more. It's okay to have whatever you need. If you need travel, if you need concerts, if you need enough money for security to make you feel good so that you can do a better job of fulfilling your mission in life, those things will be there. But keep in mind, the resources that you get are to be used, directly or indirectly, to help you fulfill your mission in life. Now, there's one more thing we'd like to talk about in this program, and that is ways to develop your intuition. So let me bring on here again Jose Luis Romero, director of the Silva Ultramind Systems, who worked for Jose Silva for a great many years and is heading up the ESP course that we have now. Give you some tips, suggestions, and strategies on how you can develop your own intuition.
It is asking a lot to ask a person to suddenly begin functioning as a psychic. Only 10% of adults develop that ability naturally without training. For most of us, it is a skill that we need to learn, to practice, and to develop. With a trained instructor, it only takes 2 days for you to begin to use your psychic ability in a controlled fashion. On your own, it will take a little longer. You will need to establish points of reference in the subjective dimension, the spiritual dimension, on your own. Here are some ideas that you can start with. Whenever you have a hunch and you act on it, and it turns out to be right, then at your earliest opportunity, enter your level and analyze what happened. Especially notice how you felt when you had the hunch. This will help you to establish points of reference of how it feels to function in this manner. For instance, you might have to make a decision and you're not sure which decision is best. If you have a feeling that one choice is the better one, then later you can analyze the results of your decision to determine if your hunch was the correct one. You can soon learn to sort out the difference between the correct feeling and other feelings that are not genuine psychic hunches. Here is a word of caution about practicing to develop your ESP. Jose Silva always believed that this ability is to be used to correct problems and to do what we were sent here to do, which is to improve conditions on planet Earth. He felt that ESP should not be used just for fun or to show off. He was critical of researchers who conducted experiments by using ESP cards so that psychics could guess the symbols of the cards or try to control the roll of the dice. In fact, psychics who had the ability to do this would lose their ability after practicing in extensive research. In other words, it is okay to verify that you have ESP, but after you verify it, then you need to use it to correct problems and for constructive and creative purposes. Some people try to guess what kind of fruit is in a paper bag. For instance, once they do that successfully, they should move on to more important ESP. Mr. Silva insisted if they continue to just play guessing games, they will soon lose the ability. It is always best to have a purpose for using ESP. You might do something like this. When you need to call someone, and it is a long distance, it could save you both money and time to know before you make the call whether the person you want to talk to is there or not. So you could use your ESP to remotely view the distant location to determine whether the person is there or not. You might mentally picture the person being there and then mentally picture the person not being there. Switch between the two mental pictures until you get the feeling of which one is correct. Then make the call and find out if you were correct or not. After that, enter your level and review the feeling so that the next time you will recognize the feeling and know whether it is the correct one or not. By doing this, you can become accustomed to the correct feeling and the incorrect feeling. Remember that you are not just doing this to be doing something. You are doing this to develop your ESP so that you can use it for practical purposes. Once you learn to detect information like this, then you can also learn to use ESP to determine the best time to call someone. Not just if they are there or not, but whether this is a good time to call them. It will probably take time and patience to develop your ESP in this manner, or it might not work for you at all. That doesn't mean that you don't have the capacity to develop and use ESP. It just means that your mind doesn't yet know exactly what to do. It needs the guidance of another mind, a mind that already functions psychically, that already knows how to project to distant locations, to remotely view what is going on there, and to detect information that you can then use to accomplish whatever you need to accomplish.
You have now learned more than a dozen different ways to use subjective communication in the alpha level to communicate, to help yourself, to make better decisions, to find and fulfill your purpose in life. They're worth using. First thing you learn is to enter the alpha level where there's more information available to you and to use that information to help you. You've learned now the correct attitude, that of improving conditions on the planet, will unlock the door to guidance from higher intelligence that can help lead you to success in your mission in life. You've learned how to use Jose Silva's mental video technique for the spiritual guidance to fulfill that mission. You've learned how to use visualization and imagination to program yourself to overcome impediments. You've learned how to use visualization and mental rehearsal so that when you're performing a task, when you're interacting with people, you can do a better job. You learn Jose Silva's instant rapport technique to project and use your aura to help you influence people to do what's best for all concerned. You've learned how to find the ideal time to program yourself. You've learned how matter and objects can store information and how you can store information in matter and objects and how to detect that information and use it to help you achieve the things that are important to you. You've even learned how things like dowsing rods and pendulums work. You've learned about the automatic connection that a mother has with her children and how to use that to help the children, to guide them, to help them overcome problems that they may be having. You've also learned how the broadcasting technique works, how to broadcast a message to people no matter what the distance. And we have one more mental exercise. This is a special exercise that Mr. Silva came up with called the Enhanced Awareness Exercise. In this, you'll use your visualization and imagination to develop greater awareness of your environment. Jonelle will be doing this exercise. She'll ask you to enter your level and then imagine that you're in a garden and become aware of the sights and the sounds and the feelings in that garden. She'll ask you to enter a room in your house with your imagination. And in that room, imagine the sights and the sounds and the smells in that room. And Jonelle will ask you to conduct 4 tests to involve your senses, your spiritual senses, in experiencing the environment. First, you'll test for light, the intensity and color of light. What kind of light is there in the object? Where does it come from? How does it compare with the light outside of the object? Then she'll ask you to test for temperature. How does the temperature compare inside the object as compared to outside? Let your experience flow. Whatever your experience is the correct experience for you. Then you'll detect for odor. What odor do you detect? How does that compare inside and outside the object? And then you'll test for solidity of material. So again, she'll ask you to actually raise your hand, objectively, physically raise your hand, and form a fist, and imagine that you're knocking on the inside of the object, the same as when you knock on a door. How solid would you judge the material to be? And what kind of sound would you imagine reflected back to you? Then when you're done with that, you can touch your forehead again with your fingers, and then imagine coming out of the object, placing the object down out of your way. Now, let's turn the floor back over to Michael Wickett for a wrap-up. As you've already heard, Michael has had so much experience overcoming some serious problems that he had with these techniques, and he has met so many wonderful people in his travels who have used Jose Silva's techniques, methods, and ideas to improve their lives, to help them fulfill their missions in life. Michael knows what works. He has some strategies and some guidelines to share with you so that you can get the maximum benefit of this course also. Michael?
I'm sure that many of you have listened to cassette programs before, been to seminars, heard speakers, read a lot of books. I sometimes think about people that are self-improvement junkies. And they go to seminars, and years later, nothing has changed. And they've read every book, and they can talk about the ideas, but they've never been able to assimilate them. So what I want to do is I want to remind you of the impact of assimilating the valuable ideas and techniques that you have learned along the way. Because you see, you cannot change your life at the beta conscious level. Then it's all theory and opinion. So you can take the most valuable ideas that you've ever learned from any teachers, and while at level, you can program them into your mind, you can assimilate them, and then ask higher intelligence, how can you best utilize the ideas in your life? I want to remind you of some of the key action steps. And in these action steps, I'm going to give you 2 golden keys. The first action step is to use the mental video technique every night to get guidance on your mission in life. Every night. Number 2, I want you to picture a bright golden key. And the bright golden key I refer to is daily you go to level. You use your intuition. You use your higher intelligence. You program your mind with the ideal life you desire. You image the ideal life you desire. Number 3, we're creatures of habit. It takes 21 to 30 days to develop a new habit pattern. So make going to level a daily habit. Number 4, be patient. It took me several months before I got into the habit of going to level every day. And I was so restless with attention deficit and anxiety disorder that sometimes I would go to level for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and I couldn't do it any longer. But I persisted because I had done my homework and I know the enormous value of working at the alpha level. In fact, it is the single most empowering thing any man or woman could do, is to work at the alpha level as opposed to the beta level of life, which is the cause, if you will, of so much pain and suffering, decisions made at the beta level of life. So be patient. It's worth the effort. This morning, I got up at 6:30, sat straight up in bed, went to level as I do every day, 35 minutes at level. I was so peaceful, so focused, so grateful, so ready for this day. And as I stand here today, I've got some challenges back home in Detroit where I live, but I'm not there today. I'm here. And I discovered an amazing thing. One of the secrets of life is to live in day-tight compartments. And when we daily go to level, we can create enormous energy and focus that we can use to empower our life. An example of that would be when you have a bunch of people that have very diverse personalities that one day at a time, when they have a project, they put them aside, they unconditionally love each other, and do the project. So be patient. Number 5, picture the second bright golden key. And it is, while at level, ask higher intelligence, what can I do to improve this planet for other people? How can I make a difference for others? Imagine, if you will, for a moment, the enormous impact of having tools that you can use at any time to become virtually unlimited in all areas of life. Because the Silva Ultramind techniques were designed to help you create an exceptional life, and the key is that you have to use them. Now, as you listen to this program, you may be greatly challenged in your life. You may be living with lack. You may be overcome with fear or doubt. You may be going through a divorce or some very difficult situation in life. I want to remind you that those things are not permanent. Lily Tomlin, in her one-woman show, once said that reality is something you rise above. And if you have limiting conditions in your life, using the Ultramind techniques, you can rise above any and all limitations. And I want to make you aware of the most essential part of this program. I would call it the greatest formula for success and happiness. It has been said many different ways. It has been said, what you sow is what you reap. It's done unto you as you do unto others. What goes around comes around, and you give, and then you receive back. So the thing that makes this program and your life extraordinary is to model the principle of making a difference in the world, of being other-centered. Dr. Albert Schweitzer once said, "Those among you who will be the happiest are those that find a way to serve and make a difference." John D. Rockefeller Jr., one of the wealthiest men on the planet earlier in this century, if not the wealthiest, said that giving is the secret of a healthy life. And so when you go to level, ask higher intelligence what you can do to improve conditions on this planet. Ask higher intelligence to inspire you how you can use your resources and your energy to improve conditions for other people. So often people talk about saving the world. Well, let me just remind you, the world doesn't want to be saved. There are many people that want to be saved. There are many people that want assistance, but the world, no way. The world is filled with people that are involved in greed and war and acquisition and selfishness, and they're not going to change. So let's forget that concept of saving the world and ask your higher intelligence, who can you save? Who can you help? Who can you make a difference for? It is the greatest secret to happiness and soul nourishment that I've ever discovered. And Jose Silva says it's the secret to creating a life that really, really works. My beautiful friend, I want to acknowledge you for your time and your energy and your investment in being involved in this program. I'm just so enormously excited to have participated with the other people, these wonderful ideas that Jose Silva gave to the world. You know, as we look at the world, the vast majority of people live at the beta level. And there's stress, and there's difficulty, and there's problems, and people cannot solve them at beta. They keep trying over and over and over again. It really is like people who are unlucky in love or always at the wrong place at the wrong time. Take advantage of these wonderful, life-changing tools. They've been one of the most significant things that I've ever done in my whole life. I can't imagine my life without going to level every single day. Now, I do it 2 and 3 times a day, and the benefits are enormous. So it doesn't matter where you are today. The important thing is the commitment that you have, the direction in which you are moving. And I know with every fiber of my being that as you use these Ultramind techniques, you can have a magnificent life. You can make all your dreams come true if you use the ideas. I met an extraordinary woman several years ago. Her name is Barbara. She lives in Michigan. She had a very difficult life. She was poor. She'd been fired from 2 jobs. In desperation, she sought solutions, and she took a goals class. And for the first time in her life, she wrote some goals. She wanted to create a fulfilling job. She wanted to do well financially. She wanted to travel. She wanted to have a little economic freedom. And then she got involved in the work of Jose Silva, and she mastered the techniques. And she started to visualize herself at Alpha in her ideal job. She saw it. She felt it. She gave thanks for it. And in a very short time, she attracted a wonderful opportunity in the computer industry. She visualized herself as a successful salesperson, and she visualized herself doubling her income and earning a company car, which you could earn at a certain level. In fact, she went to the dealer and got a picture of an aqua blue car that was exactly the car that she was going to have when she achieved certain levels of sales success. Every single day, not once a week, not once a month, not occasionally. Every single day, she went to her alpha level before she started the day. She visualized herself making successful sales calls. She asked higher intelligence to inspire her as to the very best way to point out the benefits and the value these prospects would get if they did business with her. As a result of that, she became an extraordinarily successful salesperson. She became the #1 representative at the company. She earned $150,000 plus, started to travel the world, and created a wonderful life for herself. What I did not tell you is that when she began, she was a welfare mother who had nothing. Now, I want you to think about the impact of that, dear friend. From a welfare mother to $150,000 plus income, great success as a salesperson, wonderful, fulfilling experiences, traveling the world. She created a life that works. And interestingly enough, I hadn't seen her for several years, and I was at a program speaking recently, and who walked in the door but Barbara, doing even better than ever before. She's gotten involved in some citizen committees in Michigan because she's devoted to making a difference for other people. I encourage you, I entreat you, I implore you to do whatever it takes to assimilate the wonderful Ultramind techniques that Jose Silva gave us, which you can use to create a wonderful life for yourself. I see it for you. I expect it for you. I believe it for you. We would love to hear about your successes. God bless you.
If you enjoyed this program, you'll also enjoy Change Your Beliefs, Change Your Life, How to Take Control, Break Old Patterns, and Live the Life You Deserve by Dr. Nick Hall. Recent scientific research has proven that your physical health and emotional well-being are inextricably linked to your beliefs. Your beliefs not only shape your perception of the truth, but they also have an impact on every aspect of your life, from how your cells function to how you function in relationships. The surest way to transform your body, your mind, and your life is by identifying and changing the beliefs that are preventing you from living the healthy, happy, and enriched life you want to live. In Change Your Beliefs, Change Your Life, Dr. Nick Hall gives you the skills that will transform your life in ways you never dreamed possible. To order your 30-day free trial copy of Dr. Nick Hall's Change Your Beliefs, Change Your Life, call 1-800-525-9000. That's 1-800-525-9000. Or visit our website at www.nightingale.com. That's www.nightingale.com. Thanks for listening.
This session includes the enhanced awareness of Jose Silva's Ultramind ESP systems. I'm Jonelle Monaco Lytle, and I'll be your guide. In the background, you will hear the gentle tapping of the alpha sound. This sound will help your brain adjust to the alpha rhythm. This tape is to be used with eyes closed, so do not play it when you are driving or performing any other activity that requires the use of your eyesight. Remember that if at any time you feel uncomfortable, readjust your position to make yourself more comfortable. If you feel you must open your eyes for any reason, then open your eyes and make yourself comfortable. If you open your eyes, then rewind the tape and start again at the beginning. Anytime you desire to relax, mentally or verbally repeat the word relax, and you will relax physically and mentally. This mind training exercise is based on one originally copyrighted by Jose Silva of Laredo, Texas in 1969 after 25 years of research. New material on this tape is copyrighted in the year 2000 by Silva Ultramind Systems. Reproduction for redistribution is strictly prohibited. Now prepare for this mind training exercise by finding a comfortable position. We will begin this exercise with a 3-to-1 method. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and while exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 3 times. To help you learn to relax physically at level 3, I am going to direct your attention to different parts of your body. Relax your scalp. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes. Relax your face. Relax your throat. Relax your shoulders. Relax your chest externally and internally. Relax your abdominal area, externally and internally. Relax your thighs. Relax your knees. Relax your calves. Relax your feet. You are now at a deeper, healthier level of mind, deeper than before. This is your physical relaxation level 3. Whenever you mentally repeat and visualize the number 3, your body will relax as completely as you are now, and more so every time you practice. To enter mental relaxation level 2, take a deep breath, and while exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 2 3 times, and you are at level 2, a deeper level than 3. Level 2 is for mental relaxation, where noises will not distract you. Instead, noises will help you to relax mentally more and more. To improve mental relaxation at level 2, practice visualizing tranquil and passive scenes. To enter the basic plane level, take a deep breath, and while exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 1 3 times. You are now at level 1, the basic plane level that you can use for a purpose, any purpose you desire. To help you enter a deeper, healthier level of mind, I am going to count from 10 to 1. On each descending number, you will feel yourself going deeper, and you will enter a deeper, healthier level of mind. 10, 9, feel going deeper. 8, 7, 6, deeper and deeper. 5, 4, 3, deeper and deeper. 2, 1. You are now at a deeper, healthier level of mind, deeper than before. It is a wonderful feeling to be deeply relaxed, a very healthy state of being. Effective sensory projection statements for success. I am now learning to attune my intelligence by developing my sensing faculties and to project them to any point or place on this planet so as to be aware of any actions taking place, if this is necessary and beneficial for humanity. I am now learning to attune my intelligence by developing my sensing faculties and to project them to any point or place on any planet within the solar system, any solar system within the galaxy, and any galaxy within the universe, so as to be aware of any actions taking place if this is necessary and beneficial for humanity. I am now learning to attune my intelligence by developing my sensing faculties and to project them to the different matter kingdoms, the inanimate matter kingdom, any of its levels and depths, the animate matter kingdom with reproductive intelligence, plant life and animal life, any of its levels and depths, and the animate matter kingdom with reproductive intelligence and an awareness of existence, the human body and mind kingdom, any of its levels and depths. I am now learning to detect abnormalities whenever such abnormalities exist within any kingdom, any level, and any depth, if this is necessary and beneficial for humanity. I am now learning to apply corrective measures and to bring back to normalcy any abnormality found within any kingdom, any level, and any depth, if this is necessary and beneficial for humanity. Negative thoughts and negative suggestions have no influence over me at any level of the mind. The following laws are to be considered when programming. Do to others only what you like others to do to you. The solution must be within the possibility area. The solution must help to make this planet a better place to live. The solution must be the best for everybody concerned. The solution must help at least 2 or more persons. The following principles apply to programming. Objective physical communication takes place at the beta, left brain dimension, using the objective physical senses. The hearing is used for perception, and the voice is used for transmission. Subjective, spiritual communication takes place at the alpha, right brain dimension by using the spiritual senses. Visualization is used for perception, and imagination is used for transmission. In the objective, physical dimension, the past is behind us, the present is our present position, and the future is ahead of us. In the subjective, spiritual dimension, the past is to your right, the present is centered straight ahead, and the future is to your left. Impression of information for your benefit. Programming. We will now practice using imagination to help you improve your sensitivity and develop greater awareness of your environment. Greater awareness and knowledge will help you find more alternatives so that you can devise better strategies for correcting problems. Having more ways to correct problems reduces pressure and tension. At the count of 3, you will project yourself mentally to a garden, a natural setting with vegetation such as flowers and trees. 1, 2, 3. You are now in a garden with flowers, trees, and other vegetation. Look around you and observe this garden. Now reach out and objectively use your hand and pick one flower. Now hold this flower at arm's length. Notice how it feels. And observe its appearance, its size and shape and color. Bring your hand towards your face now and observe this flower from just a few inches away. Now bring your hand to your nose and smell this flower. Recall how a flower smells and imagine that you can smell this flower now. Now touch your forehead and mentally project yourself into this flower. You are now within the flower at any depth of this level that you desire. Now test for light. Temperature, odor, and solidity of material by reflected sound. Use your hand to make a fist and knock on the inside of the flower. Now, touch your forehead and come out of the flower. You are now out of the flower. Place the flower off to the side, out of your way. Now relax and listen. What sounds do you hear in your garden? In our environment, there are many sounds that we are not usually aware of. What is the softest sound you hear in your garden? Is it the breeze blowing, or a cricket, or a bird, or other small animal? What is the loudest sound that you hear? Does it come from your garden or from the surrounding neighborhood? Is it a sound from nature or a sound from civilization? What do you feel in your garden? What is the temperature? Do you feel a breeze or the sunshine? What does the ground feel like as you stand or sit in your garden? Is the ground smooth or rough, level or hilly? What kind of clothing are you wearing in your garden? Feel your clothing in contact with your body. Now, let's taste some fruit from your garden. What fruit do you have in your garden? Do you have bushes with berries? Vines with grapes? Are there melons on the ground? Are there trees with a favorite fruit? Pick some fruit and taste this fruit. Is it sweet or tart? What is the texture as you bite into it? How juicy is it? What does it smell like as you eat it? As you finish the fruit, again become aware of the other sensations you have of your garden. What do you see? What are the colors? What do you hear? Where are the sounds coming from? What do you feel? Now, at the count of 3, you will project yourself to be in a room where you spend a lot of time. This could be an office or a room in your home. 1, 2, 3. You are now in a room that you are familiar with. Look around this room and notice details. Notice what is in front of you. Observe what is to your left. What is to your right? And what is behind you? Now, select any small object and pick it up. Use your hand now and hold this object at arm's length and observe its color, its shape, its weight and texture. Now bring this object closer and observe it from just a few inches away. Now, touch your forehead and mentally project yourself into this object. You are now within the object. At this time, test for light, temperature, odor, and solidity of material by reflected sound. Now, touch your forehead and come out of the object. You are now out of the object. You may place it back where it belongs. Now relax and make yourself comfortable and listen to the sounds in this room. What is the softest sound you hear? What is the loudest sound you hear? Do you hear any sounds coming from outside of this room? What odors do you detect in this room? Are the odors agreeable or disagreeable? Notice how you are dressed as you relax in this room. Feel your clothing in contact with your body. Feel your body in contact with the floor or furniture that you are touching. You have been practicing an exercise to enhance your imagination and to increase your awareness of your environment. This will help you to develop and learn to use your biological senses even more, so that you will become an even better problem solver. Every time you function at these levels of the mind, you will receive beneficial effects physically and mentally. You may use these levels of the mind to help yourself physically and mentally. You may use these levels of the mind to help your loved ones physically and mentally. You may use these levels of the mind to help any human being who needs help physically and mentally. You will never use these levels of the mind to harm any human being. If this be your intention, you will not be able to function within these levels of the mind. You will always use these levels of the mind in a constructive, creative manner for all that is good, honest, pure, clean, and positive, and this is so. You will continue to strive to take part in constructive and creative activities to make this a better world to live in, so that when we move on, we shall have left behind a better world for those who follow. You will consider the whole of humanity, depending on their ages as fathers or mothers, brothers or sisters, sons or daughters. You are a superior human being. You have greater understanding, compassion, and patience with others. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. At that moment, you will open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. You will have no ill effects whatsoever in your head, no headache, no ill effects whatsoever in your hearing, no buzzing in your ears, no ill effects whatsoever in your vision and eyesight. Vision, eyesight, and hearing improve every time you function at these levels of the mind. 1, 2, coming out slowly now. 3, at the count of 5, you will open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before, feeling the way you feel when you have slept the right amount of revitalizing, refreshing, relaxing, healthy sleep. 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. And may the rest of your life be the best of your life. This concludes the Enhanced Awareness Technique for Jose Silva's Ultramind ESP systems. Thank you.